In the last couple of videos, we've learned that in order for an object to change its speed or direction of motion, it must interact with other objects. Those interactions between objects that allow the object to change their speed or direction of motion are called forces. We've learned that force is a vector quantity. It has a direction associated with it, and also a numerical value, which is the strength of the force. Right? We've learned the unit for force that we're going to use most often in this class, which is the Newton. It's about equal to 1/4 pound, or the weight of a hamburger patty. So in this video, I'm going to do a couple of apparently simple, but actually very important and very helpful demos, which will be very useful to us in developing our understanding of forces as we proceed through the course. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to just take my air puck, and I'm going to get my air puck moving to the right. And with the air puck already moving to the right, I'm just going to come and push it to the right, and then we're going to see what happens. Okay. All right. Okay, do that again. Okay, so the air puck was already moving to the right, and with the air puck already moving to the right, I came and I pushed it rightward. What happened? Could you see that it got faster? Okay, so if you have an object which is already moving and a force comes along and pushes the object in the direction that it's already moving in, the object gets faster. That's the first demo. Second demo, I'm going to get the object moving to the right again, but this time with the object already moving to the right, I'm going to push to the left. We'll see what happens. Okay, one more time. So in this demo, I had the object already moving to the right, and with the object already moving to the right, I pushed opposite the motion, I pushed to the left. Now, could you see that the object got slower? Okay, so in this second demo, we saw that if an object is moving along and it experiences a force opposite its motion, the object gets slower. So I'm going to write all of that out on the board, and then we're going to discuss a little bit more. Okay, so I have here on the board now a couple of figures that summarize what we just saw in the demo. So this would be a good time to just pause the video and take these figures down into your notes, because what we have seen here and what we're going to get out of these figures is going to be crucial for how we understand forces going forward into the course. So just pause a bit and make sure you have these figures down. Okay, so let's summarize. In the first demo, I had an object already moving to the right, and with the object already moving to the right, I pushed the object to the right, and we saw that the speed increased. So if you push an object in the direction it is already moving, the speed increases. In the second demo, I had an object already moving to the right, but with the object already moving to the right, I pushed the object to the left, and we saw that the object got slower. So generally, if you push an object opposite the direction it's moving in, the object gets slower. Now, let's take these two from a different perspective. Suppose you are out in the world and you see the speed of an object start to increase somehow, right? Like, let's say you're just watching cars go by on the road and you see that some car starts to go faster. What does that tell you? Well, if you see an object start to get faster, that tells you that that object experienced the force in the direction it was already moving. Okay? So if we take what we learned from this demo here and turn it around, that tells us that if we're just out there in the world and we see the speed of an object start to increase, that tells us that that object experienced a force in the direction it was already moving. On the other hand, let's say you're out in the world, maybe standing on a sidewalk, watching cars go by, and all of a sudden you see a car start to slow down. What does that tell you? Well, when you see an object getting slower, that tells you that that object is experiencing a force opposite the motion. Okay? So taking what we learned from this video and turning it around, what does that tell us? It tells us that if we see the speed of an object start to decrease, then the object must have experienced a force opposite the motion. Take these two observations together. I hope you find them fairly straightforward to understand, but we're going to see that these statements have huge consequences as we go forward in this course and try to understand how different kinds of forces work.